There you go. That's good.
Are all the phones out?
No, not one tower held. It's got no electricity or water neither. Everything's gone. Governor's already declared most of Dade County a disaster area.
Well, ladies, welcome back. What a cloudy day it is.
Yeah, it is today.
So dark.
And I don't know. I just get a feeling we have a lot of dark stuff to talk about. What about you?
I think we're going to go and take a little look on the dark side of Shaun today.
There's a dark side of all of us. And
Or do you want to say a serious side? You say dark, serious?
you know, it is serious and it's dramatic. Welcome to the Shaun Squad Society podcast, the podcast for all of us teeny boppers who were head over heels in love with our teen dream, Shaun Cassidy. We believe that it's time to tell our stories in our words, remembering the first time we discovered Shaun. Our podcast will feature stories of concerts, memorabilia, and everything Shaun. So come along with us on this journey to share the stories that helped us create the Shaun Squad Society podcast with your host, myself, Penny,
Dame Madonna,
Cindy,
And Doris.
You know, when we first started talking about this dark side of Shaun, you know, I really had trouble wrapping my brain around how my Shaun, our Shaun, the Shaun Cassidy that makes all of us happy all the time, could be dark. And so when Doris introduced me to Invasion and American Gothic, and we all know about Wasp, I was like, I don't know. And then I am now officially hooked on Invasion and getting hooked on American Gothic. And, you know, it's not so much dark as it is. It's drama. It's dramatic.
Drama.
And it's
sci-fi?
sci-fi.
It's a little bit, I use the term dark side because it's not as upbeat, peppy sunshine as we're used to. It's more the stuff that you would have seen back in the day on the sci-fi channel and a little more, like you said, drama.
right.
Yeah.
Shaun even says he has a dark side.
I just strive to find authentic moments in all of these shows because you want people to be brought in, especially if the world is a little bit upside down. You want to feel a ground and something that you can feel connected to. These are two families that have been undone by divorce. They've been remarried. The kids have been shuttled back and forth. They don't know what their ground is. The community doesn't know what its ground is after a hurricane. A species doesn't know what its ground is in the context of our little world.
Right. But I am really excited to share this episode because, you know, there's a lot of fans out there who probably don't know about Invasion and American Gothic. And it is really, really good. And like I said, I am so glad. Thank you, Doris, because I was on the edge of my seat for like 6 hours yesterday. And meanwhile, as you guys know, I'm texting you like, I'm hooked. I mean,
It does hold your attention.
It does. It holds your attention. And then like I had to stop and rewind because I'm like, okay, I got to go back to see if I saw that right and make sure I was like,
It gives you a lot of information in the beginning.
It
It
does.
throws things at you.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
does.
They're giving you a lot of stuff.
yeah.
Invasion to me had it got the short end of the stick because it came out in September 2005.
Yes,
Right.
it did.
Well, we all know that in August 2005, there was a hurricane,
Yeah.
Katrina. And
A major one.
It was
Yes.
devastating.
Yeah.
It took out New Orleans, basically.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So to come out with a TV show, Shaun just had the show all written and ready to go. How was he to know there was going to be a hurricane? Invasion is about a hurricane and the aftermath of this hurricane.
Yeah, and ABC pulled the early on-air promotions because of it.
Well, exactly. But after watching, you know, the first 6 episodes of the 22 episodes of this, I can respect that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, just the similarities of it and the fears that I could see the families and the people from Katrina could have had because of the show.
Right.
But also the show, I think, aired after Lost. Am I correct?
Right.
So, but we'll get into that a little bit in the podcast. But Therese, did you have something you wanted to share with us before we move on?
I think we should just go right into talking about Invasion.
Yeah.
I was going to say the network switched their advertising to the alien invasion instead of focusing on the hurricane then.
Right.
So they did a little bit of adjusting.
Right. And you know me,
put it out.
I always like to talk about the star-studded cast of everything.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorites who played in New Amsterdam.
Tyler Labine.
Or Labine, whatever. He actually plays in this. And
I know.
he is excellent. I mean, he was the
He reminds me of a cool dude in this one. Kind of a
he was like unemployed. He used to
rebel.
He liked to drink, he needed his beer, but did construction. And he was really cool.
And he believed in aliens, I believe.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. And, during the hurricane, all of a sudden there's these lights that, fell out of the sky that everybody saw. And there was an airplane crash, even in the sky, there was all these lights in the airplane crash. But then all these lights that were falling out of the sky, and was it into the swamp or
It was a swamp.
A swamp, yeah. But then people were falling into it. And then they were being washed up or something, or walking out of it.
Yeah.
It was just really weird because they looked the same when they came out.
Yeah.
But they were different on the inside.
Yeah, the story was told that of the aftermath of a hurricane in which the water-based creatures infiltrate a small Florida town and begin to take over the bodies of the town's inhabitants through a cloning process.
Yes.
Yep.
I think William Fichtner played Sheriff Tom Underlay.
With this series of Invasion, it's just really horrible that it coincided with Katrina, because this series, Invasion, is so good. It will keep you sitting on the edge of your seat.
It was critically acclaimed, too.
Yes.
Everybody liked it.
It was so good. I mean, the drama, I just can't stop saying how good it was. And I'm so glad Doris brought it to my attention. Moving on with some things about Invasion, and I'm going to say one more time, if you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. But Invasion received critical acclaim with the performances of the cast, writing, and musical score being singled out for praise. The series was officially canceled May 17th, 2006.
Now, Penny, did you just say the writing and the cast and the musical score, all of that was critically acclaimed?
Yes.
So this show was well received by the critics.
Yes,
it was.
Yes, it was.
Sometimes cult classics, as this is called, is the people love it, but the critics are like, eh. But
yes.
No, everybody liked it.
Everybody liked it.
Yeah.
Yes, it says, since then, the show has appeared in numerous lists of shows that were canceled too soon, including lists by Entertainment Weekly and the Huffington Post. The show was originally conceived for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
5 seasons.
Yeah, 5.
It's too bad they can't continue it now, Why can't you?
Well, here's what I was thinking.
There's only 1 season.
With the writer's strike, and this show was so well written and thought of. Same thing with, we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, American Gothic. Again, another
they were both very well.
Why can't they bring back these shows?
Yeah, exactly. They do it with other shows.
Right. I mean, why not?
We should write to the network and tell them.
There's so many streaming services today that put on shows. You don't have to worry about your networks that we grew up with.
Because anybody can pick it up.
Anybody can show American Gothic and Invasion.
Can't even say enough about this show. All the actors in it, and
so Tyler, we just talked a little bit that Tyler was in it, and he went on later to work with Shaun in New Amsterdam.
New Amsterdam,
but
yeah.
there was another actor in the show, and help me with this name, but he went on later to be in that TV series Mom about the alcoholic group of friends.
Oh, yeah.
And they were all alcoholics. I can say it out loud because that's what they were.
They were, yes. Well,
he came in later as the boyfriend in the wheelchair.
yeah. Oh my God, I loved him on that show as well. Oh, you didn't watch Mom?
No.
William Fichtner?
Yes.
Finchner? Yeah, they were all recovering. But he would still drink, and it would
Yes.
be like he would be like having his beers and everything.
He had his beers,
you know.
and he was like, "Don't be turning my bar into a juice bar."
Oh yeah,
He was like
or a coffee bar.
Yeah, he
and stuff.
opened the bar.
Yeah, but he played the sheriff in this episode. But yeah, he was great. He did a great job.
And there was an 80% approval rating for this show, too. I mean, that's
yeah,
high.
Yeah, that was really, really high.
Yeah. So everything about it was great. It was the timing.
It was the timing.
Mhm.
Well, and it even said one of the problems was it followed Lost.
Right.
And Lost was so intense. So I think Lost was maybe on from 8 to 9.
Probably.
And maybe this was on 9 to 10. And this is Central Time.
Yes.
So back to back.
And the hurricane.
And then the hurricane.
The hurricane is really what.
Right.
Right. It was like, how did Shaun know to write a show about a hurricane?
Maybe he's got a little bit of predictiveness.
I was
thinking,
seriously, Cindy, I just was like, how would he know some of these things were happening?
Remember
very coincidental.
in Invasion, I think there's a whole episode about an epidemic.
Yes.
That does take over kind of. Well, we all know.
Well, we just came out of one.
Came out of one.
Yeah.
Yes.
The dark side of Shaun.
But then the sheriff, when this epidemic was going on, people were getting sick and they had to quarantine and do all this stuff. But they tracked down where it finally came from. And they went to where the guy was in the trailer. And he's like, don't come in here. And, he knew he was the one that was spreading it. But he's like, I never got sick. I never got sick. I don't know why I never got sick. So the sheriff told the two guys he was with to leave. And then he walked in and the guy's like, don't come in here. And he goes, don't worry, I won't get sick either.
Oh, so
and spoiler alert, but then it went off, and that's where I already spent like 8 hours watching it yesterday, but yeah, I mean, there's so much that from this hurricane, these people
and these aliens are hidden in the water, which I never even thought of before.
Oh my God,
what a concept is that?
I know.
You guys know how I always have a confession.
Oh, dear.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Another confession.
We're going to have to just include this every week.
Every week. Teresa's confession.
Right?
Hang on. Teresa, let me guess the plot of your confession. Are you an alien?
No.
Can you speak to aliens?
From the water.
I don't hear aliens. I can't speak to aliens. I'm not an alien whisperer.
Oh, that was my next one?
No.
Are you psychic?
Well, that's a whole different topic, and we don't want to scare our
Maybe Shaun is.
Well, I'm really thinking Shaun has something.
Something's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, 2005. So we all know that I love all things Cassidy, as all of us do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in 2005, Patrick Cassidy came to Chicago to star in the musical Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Okay.
Also known as Joseph. So I went.
I saw David in that one.
That was a good production of it, too.
Wait a minute. Shaun and David both played in that.
No, Patrick and David.
Oh, Patrick and David.
And this is in 2005 after Donny Osmond did a
long
run in Chicago and Joseph. Donny Osmond put Chicago and Joseph back on the map. But Patrick came in 2005, right after the Chicago White Sox had won the World Series.
Oh, right.
And my sister and I went downtown and waited outside the theater door because there were two shows. It was a Sunday, and they had an early show and a later show. And we waited outside the back door for Patrick to come back and go in for the second show. Well, the stagehand was like, it's November now. And they're like, what are you doing out here? It's freezing cold. And we're like, we're waiting for Patrick Cassidy to come back.
Bring the sympathy on.
And they said, come inside. You're going to freeze out here. We go inside and we stand around. Patrick comes back 20 minutes before curtain time. Patrick walks in, and then we're like, he's in all makeup, and we're like, don't you have a show to do? And he stands there and talks to us for a couple of minutes, and he asks us to come back after the show. So we go backstage after the show. We meet his son, who was just a little boy at the time. Now he's a big grown man, making albums and everything.
Or Cole, one of the two.
Cassidy. And I looked right at Jack and I'm like, man, you are a Cassidy. He looked just like Patrick. His wife was there. Well, here's the confession. I looked at Patrick and I said, Patrick, please tell Shaun to pick it up. He goes, what do you mean? I said, Invasion. It's going to get canceled. It's going too slow. Please tell him to just pick up the pace a little bit. And then right after that, pretty much.
You know, I haven't got to the part where it gets slow. I mean, right now, to me, I'm still on the edge of my seat and still loving it.
It was a great show, but somewhere along the way, I was starting to drift away from it. I don't know what happened.
Well,
none of the critics said anything about that.
Well, that shows that I'm not a critic. I don't know what I'm talking about, but that was my confession of meeting Patrick Cassidy and telling him to tell his brother to pick his show pace up.
So maybe Patrick forgot to tell him.
I don't know. That's a great story. That is a great story. But I got something else here. It says, the show was nominated on the 32nd Saturn Awards for Best Network TV Series and Best Television Actor for William Fechner. It has been included in many Gone Too Soon lists. In the independent web critics at large, the show was reviewed as a lost treasure. In 2022, Invasion was reviewed as one of the best alien invasion TV show to binge.
There you have
How about
it.
that?
Some interviews I've listened to, they have all said the same thing. It's unanimous.
I mean,
are correct.
Yeah.
It's unanimous. Doris was wrong, and the critics know exactly what to say.
I mean, it goes on and on and on. And seriously, I'm so glad we found Shaun Cassidy again.
To go back to see things he made that I missed.
Yeah.
There are so many.
I grew up and did my own thing, so I wasn't really following all this.
Right.
I didn't know he was making these shows.
Right.
So to go back is interesting.
Kind of like we missed 40 years of Shaun.
Well, now we're catching up.
Yep. Now we're catching up with the podcast.
We want to know everything.
Everything.
Well, what other guest star or other stars were in Invasion that we didn't know or we forgot, maybe?
Oh, I love Eddie Cibrian. He's cute.
Yep.
Which one? Who did he play, Cindy?
He played Russell Varon.
Yes.
He was
Oh my God.
Yes,
Russell.
he is so very handsome.
Very cute in it.
So cute.
Yes.
Well, you know, Carrie Matchett, Dr. Muriel Utterly.
Machette?
Yes.
Matchett.
Machette, maybe?
Yeah. She kind of reminded me of Shaun's wife, Tracy.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought that too when I was watching.
Yeah.
Like, she looks like Tracy.
Yeah, with that thin blonde hair, and that little skinny ponytail she had.
Another show was Caleb, so look, these shows are connected.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
him.
But not only that, there was a couple times she'd turn around and do something, and I'd be like, Katie Cassidy there.
Oh.
Like I would get kind of a mixed feeling of those two. And
Interesting.
yeah. And then again, go ahead, Doris.
We talked a little bit that Tyler Levine is in it.
Yeah, I was going to go back to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love him. I seriously love him. And I love his character here. I mean, he was kind of like spacey a little bit, and the uncle. But he was such a good guy.
He was.
And, willing to help, and everybody liked him, and the kids really looked up to him. I mean,
his character in that show was so good.
So good. And he got attacked by an alien.
He did.
And he believed in it. And what did he call them? EPEs or extra, I can't even remember,
Yeah.
extra
know.
something, I don't know. It was different
I don't know.
because he had the step niece, which was a Rose, Ariel Gade as Rose Barron. And she said she saw the lights falling out of the sky and they went into the swamp. And so they took the swamp boat out. And she's like, it was right there. And so he goes looking, and that's when he sees the skeleton. So he takes her back, and then he goes back out later at night, and he gets it in his beat up white, and I swear it was a Chevy Nova because I had one.
It's an old car.
My mom had a white Chevy Nova. So that's when he then goes back and has Russell look at it. But he was like, it's an alien.
He had a great role in it.
He did.
And that's why Shaun asked him to come back, I think, for New Amsterdam.
Oh,
such a good actor.
Such a good
He
actor.
does a great job.
Yeah.
And shouldn't we wish him well? Is he better now? Didn't he just have a
I've seen some postings.
So happy Tyler is a lot better.
Yeah, he was on a show back when he was on Invasion, and he said to them that there was quite a huge following by the time we got canceled with Invasion. Mm-hmm. He says it was just the networks didn't like it at all, but he said he praised Shaun Cassidy's writing, calling him a mad genius.
Seriously, before I even read that, I wrote, this is genius. I can't even say enough about it. But anyway.
Yeah.
Genius is the word that I use to describe American Gothic.
Well, I was going to say, Doris, I was thinking, could he even be more of a genius? And then American Gothic comes to mind.
Right.
American Gothic preceded Invasion. But can I just say, of all of Shaun Cassidy's television work, American Gothic is my all-time 100% absolute favorite.
I did like that one more than this one.
American Gothic.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about it, shall we?
American Gothic is very scary show, and it is a bit twisted, I'm proud to say.
And give us a bit of a plot overview here.
Well, it's basically a classic battle between good and evil. You've got this southern sheriff who's evil incarnate. He's got all kinds of supernatural stuff going on, and he's fighting to get hold of this little boy who has powers of his own that we'll find out about as the series progresses.
And by the way, may I say that little boy is that little boy is incredible.
Yeah, he's great. His name's Lucas Black. He'd done a little movie called The War with Kevin Costner, and as a result of that, he got our show, and he's sensational.
American Gothic stars Gary Cole and Lucas Black. So we'll start with that. Gary Cole, I fell in love with Gary Cole way back in the 90s, maybe late 80s. He was in a TV show called Midnight Caller, which was about an ex-cop who accidentally killed his partner. He went on to become a talk radio show host that was on late night.
Oh.
Late night talk radio. Before podcasting came along, there was a radio.
Yeah.
And people were listening and calling in. So Gary Cole was in that show, and I really loved him in it. And then there's Lucas Black. That kid is just, when he was in American Gothic, I would get chills. I'm like, he was
very good in that.
And he went on, after American Gothic, he was in Sling Blade, starring Billy Bob Thornton and John Ritter. Mm-hmm. And Cindy just showed me an autograph. She has a John Ritter, and I'm pretty darn jealous.
I got that in an amusement park by my house.
But Billy Bob, John Ritter, it's about a guy that gets released from a mental hospital, and the kid, oh my goodness, Lucas Black was so good. And when I watched the movie, I'm like, hey, that's the kid from American Gothic. And he was just as good. I was just recently watching American Gothic on DVD, and I was listening to one of the extras, they put at the end, all the extras. And Shaun was talking to the producer, and they were talking about the episode. And Shaun said, Lucas Black is the best child actor.
Oh, I read that.
Yes. Yeah, he did.
I agree.
And then he went on to mention Sling Blade, which was coming out. It hadn't been released yet. He's like, you need to see him in this Sling Blade, or it just come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had just come out. It was such an amazing cast, but the show itself was so good. It takes place in fictional Trinity, Alabama. And there's the sheriff, Buck. Sheriff Buck was the devil. There's some, now don't start writing in, there's some debate. Was he the devil or was he just kind of a minion of the devil?
Well,
I'm going with he was Satan.
He was supposedly reincarnated from the devil.
He might have been
Yeah.
the devil.
Who would want him in your town? Oh,
Well,
He ran that town.
Yeah.
Any and everybody who needed any and everything got it from Sheriff Buck.
mm-hmm,
But then you owed him.
mm-hmm.
And
oh yeah.
didn't
Sometimes
pay
with
it-
your life.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. But you know what? Caleb Temple had a sister, Merlin Temple,
Oh,
who saw Sheriff Buck rape her mother, and
Yeah.
that's how Caleb was conceived.
And that was Sarah
Spoiler
Paulson, right? I think that was her
Yeah.
first
alert.
role.
Yes, that
Mhm.
If
was.
I'm
It was.
correct. Her first role.
Yep.
Yeah, when she saw Sheriff Buck rape her mother, and that's how Caleb was conceived, she kind of went a little bit crazy.
Someone's at the door. Someone's at the door. Someone's at the door.
I'm not going to give away everything. She dies, and she becomes Caleb's watcher. Because Buck is after Caleb. He wants his son.
Kayla's mom is dead too.
Yeah,
Right.
his mom is dead because she jumped out of a window because she was raped by Sheriff Buck.
Yeah, she didn't like that very much.
So she
So,
gives birth to Caleb,
Yeah.
and she decides, I'm out. And she takes a little leap out of the window, and Buck then decides he's taking his son. Well, Merlin will not have it. Merlin and his cousin out of nowhere comes back from nowhere, and the ghost of Merlin and his cousin are watching over Caleb.
Mhm.
And then there's a doctor.
Oh yeah.
The doctor is the only other person in the town that decides Buck is not going to take over.
Right.
Caleb.
He's trying to defend the kid.
Yep.
Yes. Well, that doctor, the guy that plays the doctor, did you know he's British?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's always interesting to find that out when they're in a show and they're talking an American accent.
Yes, he does. And it was an episode at one point where Caleb, in his little Southern boy accent, calls him a Yankee.
A
and
Yankee.
I'm cracking up laughing because the guy is really British. So
Yeah.
he's the guy. Did you guys watch a show with, it was called Medium, and it had
Yes,
Patricia
yes.
Arquette. It was
Yes.
such a
Yes.
good TV
Loved
show.
that
was
show.
Well,
Mhm.
he was her husband.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
he
the
was.
that's the premise of
Yes, he
American
was.
Gothic. But Lucas Black was so good, and Gary Cole, he has a tie to Chicago. He was from here.
Right.
He's-
Park Ridge, I
Yeah, I
think.
was going to
Park
say
Ridge.
Park Ridge.
Mhm. Really close.
Mhm.
Yep, Park Ridge, Illinois. Shout out. And the whole show, I think, could have lasted
I know.
5, 6, 7 seasons
Yes.
if it was on today.
Yeah.
But it has a great cult following. That American Gothic, just people go crazy for it.
Right.
Sheriff Lucas Buck, that's Buck with the B. That is
right.
That's Sheriff Lucas Buck. That's Buck with a B.
probably one of my favorite lines ever heard.
Yeah, he does say that.
Yeah.
It's just a great show. I say if you've never seen it, you should watch it. I binged it the other day and I couldn't turn it off. It was 3 a.m. and I'm up watching Invasion.
Wow.
I could not stop. I mean,
Or American
I'm sorry,
Gothic, you mean?
American Gothic.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
they're both. They're both like Sid.
Well, like I said, they catch your attention.
Yeah. You know, because you
What?
want to know, like, what is Sheriff
Yeah.
Buck is going to do next.
Yeah.
You know, but you speak of Lucas Black, 1997, Young Star Awards nominated Best Performance by a Young Actor in a Drama Series. I
Wow.
mean, how
He-
awesome. Awesome.
He
You know?
grew up and he went on NCIS New Orleans.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
he's
Oh.
such a good actor.
He is.
I don't know the rest of the cast because I'm just in awe with Gary Cole and Lucas, but they were to me some of the finest actors of that day, and Shaun actually was going to work with Gary Cole again. And he teased us with it a little bit, but the
Okay.
series didn't get picked up by the network.
Hey,
Which one was
go ahead.
that?
Go ahead. Then I have a question.
He wrote about it on some of his Facebook posts.
I'm
some
thinking
of
I
his,
remember.
And it was a series, and I think it had something to do with rodeo or something.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah. That was last summer.
Yes, and
It was
didn't
last
pick up.
summer.
It didn't
It-
get picked
it
up.
I
didn't
really wanted it to. I was looking
Yeah,
forward
yeah.
to that.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know why, because he wrote it so it would get picked up because New Amsterdam was being canceled.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this was going to start.
Yeah. And remember, he would do little clips of it
Mhm.
and, he would like send pictures of his cowboy boots or
But
his
if he had just
hat.
told the network that his fans would have all followed it, it would have been
Oh,
successful.
I'm sure they would have, but now it could have been one of those things that could be on TV.
Right.
Kind of like, Shaun Cassidy could be on every, show every night
Yeah.
because of all of this. But
Right.
anyway, guest starring. Okay. Guest starring John Bennis, Bennes. Is that how you just said it?
Bennis.
Bennis. But as Reverend Combs. Okay. Doris,
Yes, Penny.
that reverend, that priest, I don't trust him.
Oh,
He
yes.
is, I think he is like the devil also.
Yes.
But he's the father of,
Well, he's a priest.
but he's the father of one of the
Well, I
girls in
think,
the show.
is he?
Right, because
But
the teacher,
I only saw,
that's the teacher's
Right, right.
father, and the teacher sleeps with the devil, literally.
Gosh.
She's his girlfriend. She's Buck's little girlfriend.
Oh, that one.
what,
yes.
that. So tell
Why
me
would you
about-
wanna be?
Tell me about that priest. I mean, oh.
Well, Penny, I'm
going to finish watching it. I promise. but-
You're watching it out of order. I'm watching it in order.
Well,
And I haven't revisited those episodes yet.
Oh,
They
I
have
just
I just
know.
finished the first
I want
three.
to when he looks into the camera on TV and he has that little smile and the way he's devious and like in the grocery store when he's getting Buck's wife, the doctor.
Wait. Now, Buck
Wait,
doesn't-
not Buck. The doctor.
the doctor doesn't have a wife.
The female?
The female.
Okay, there's the teacher, Miss Coons. That's Caleb's teacher.
Okay, hold on.
And then there's
was the one that-
Caleb's cousin who comes back.
She's the brunette.
Yes.
But who's the one that sat at the table with him when he cut his finger?
When
The
Caleb,
teacher?
yes,
But I think that lady is the daughter of the priest.
Maybe that's where
Miss Coons. I haven't gotten there yet, but Miss Coons could be the daughter of the priest,
I
and
think she is.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. The daughter of the priest.
because she is Caleb's teacher. And she's on the side of Buck. She runs around, does all this little work for Buck.
Yes.
Isn't she promiscuous or something?
Yes.
Or-
Yes.
So
Hyper-
Buck has a deputy, and this
Oh.
deputy saw Buck kill Merlin,
Yes.
and he's holding that over the deputy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the guy sleeps with Miss Coons, and Buck sleeps with Miss Coons, but Buck is like just really torturing this poor deputy.
Yeah, I saw him on a psychiatric couch or something,
Yeah.
and I think he
Doesn't
Said
know
it out
what
loud
to
or
do with it.
something?
And every time he tries to like get it off his chest with Buck, like, that's wrong what you did. Buck has to let it be known, if you mess with me, you're not gonna come out of this okay.
yeah.
So
I wouldn't mind living that town.
No.
Buck runs the whole town. If you do something, if you get anything good, believe me, you're in Sheriff Buck's debt, because he's the one that got it for you.
Yeah. I wish I would have known how it ended.
Well, I will probably by the end of tomorrow night.
Well, but that's only episode 1. Like, I'm sure they planned other episodes or seasons.
yeah. You mean if it got to 5
Yeah, if you got to 5.
or whatever, yeah.
Because a lot of times,
But-
this is the first season, so things at the end are left undone.
Yeah. On the DVD collection, I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm doing it in order, but it says there are 2 episodes that never aired. So
Oh.
I'm waiting for those.
I saw
Really?
that too, yeah.
I can't wait to watch those 2.
Yeah, it's just too bad they got canceled right away. I mean, and they're good shows. I feel bad for Shaun because this could have been something Great.
I think it was long
You
before.
put all that work in it.
Long before streaming came along.
Yeah.
The people are more open to all kinds of TV and stuff now because you can see everything.
Everything
can binge.
anywhere.
Everywhere.
It goes. It's
Well, maybe
infinity.
Yeah, maybe we should campaign for these things
Right?
that come out.
I
But
know.
anyway, speak of endings, something else that took Shaun to an end.
Yeah.
The stinger.
What?
The stinger.
The stinger.
of the album?
The stinger of his
Oh
album.
my gosh. Wasp.
Wasp.
Oh, that was his last album back in 1980.
Was it that long ago?
Yes.
Okay, so for all our followers out there, we love Shaun Cassidy.
We do.
So don't let that little moan make you think that we're naysayer haters. No,
No.
we love Shaun Cassidy.
We just say our feelings.
But Cindy, what do you
But
have
I think
to say?
Shaun had a mutual thought too. So
Well, he mentioned that a few times that he had a mutual. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean,
That's how it goes.
I at one time told you guys I really liked that album, and that I listened to it several times. But I think after for my fourth time or fifth
I
time
still couldn't.
in one day,
It gave me a
I
headache.
finally kind of got to where I understood where you guys were coming from. But do you have the album, Cindy, or the songs on the album? Because there was one on there called The Book.
So
I think it's here. Check this
while
one.
you look into that, I'm just going to say this one was the one produced by Todd Rundgren.
Oh yes.
Yes.
And I
remember.
think I could have, it was a little bit out of my demographic. I just could not
Because
wrap
it was-
my head around
It was that new wave. Is that what it was
Yes.
called? The new wave type of.
Yeah, they said in an attempt to radically change Shaun Cassidy's image, Todd Rundgren and Utopia were recruited to reinvent the teen idol for the new waves of the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah. Which,
That's what the
it
focus
was the new wave feel. Because I kind of got that Devo. That Devo, was someone. Remember Devo?
Oh, what is that called?
Whip it, no.
No, Devo. I don't think Devo did Whip It. I don't know. I don't know.
There was a
But anyway.
specific name for that
Yeah.
era.
Yeah. But the book. I wrote the book I read. I like that one because some of the songs kind of had that it was dramatic, like a Broadway or theater, like
Theatrical,
a theatrical.
kinda.
Yeah.
I guess I
hang
could
on.
put it under that, but if it was a regular song,
Yeah.
Well, he took a bunch of songs that we knew
Right.
and he covered them. And when I heard them on Wasp, they didn't sound like songs that I knew.
But Therese, I think you had told me one time that "Shake Me, Wake Me," you had a
Shake Me, Wake Me is a cover of a Holland Dozier Holland song. And Holland Dozier Holland wrote all the Motown hits. And I think the Tops did that one.
Yeah.
And then I played Wasp over and over. I knew all of the Temps and the Tops growing up in the 70s. I never put together that was the same song. It didn't sound like it to me.
Yep. Have no idea
Well,
about that song.
I think they changed the words around in it, or they did something funky.
They
with
arranged it
Yeah,
differently.
yeah.
That's all they did.
Yeah.
It's just a different arrangement.
Yeah.
Look at Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
Yeah.
It does not sound like Once Bitten, Twice Shy. Even the MTV version that I heard all over the radio way back in the mid-'80s, when I heard it on Wasp, I'm like, oh, I never put it in my head that that's the same Once Bitten, Twice Shy.
Oh, yeah. I never got into that. The only song I like on the album is called "So Sad About Us." Maybe because it was more upbeat. I'm used to Shaun's songs the way he, recorded them. This one was close.
Was that the original? Because there were some covers and there were some originals.
No, this says it was a cover. Other covers included The Who's "This Is So Sad About Us." Yeah, The Who recorded it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well-
Ian Hunter's "Once Bitten, Twice Shy," Talking Heads, the book I read.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the Talking Heads.
Talking
tune?
Heads. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then David Bowie, which one was that? That was an original by David Bowie, was it?
What was that
Was
one?
that- it should have been Rebel. David
Oh,
Bowie.
yeah, Rebel.
Oh, yeah, he
Rebel,
did
yeah.
Rebel
Rebel,
Rebel.
Rebel.
He covered Rebel Rebel. But
Mhm.
I thought he put at least one song on there that wasn't a cover. But he didn't write it. I thought it was a Todd Rundgren song that he wrote for Shaun.
Pretending.
Okay.
Yeah. But speak of MTV, they aired August 1st, 1981.
I
So
want my MTV.
I want my,
Yeah.
How many years ago was that? 20, what 30?
I know.
Like
40.
More than I want to
years?
count.
I know, right? I know.
40.
And
I know.
MTV used to have music.
Yeah. Back in the
Music,
day.
television. Yeah.
40, yeah. Yeah. When it was all videos.
All
videos.
Yes.
With
And
the
it changed.
VJs. Yes.
Yeah. There's also another song called Cool Fire.
Cool
And
Fire.
Shaun has co-writing credits on it
Yes, now that's the one I like.
with Todd Rundgren. Yeah, I
Yes.
like that one too.
Yes.
I like it. That's a good one. But that's about it.
Okay, Cindy, what does it say about, did we talk about selfless love? What does it say about that?
Selfless love. I don't have that one on my list.
Yeah, I just saw it on here. I don't
Cool
know.
Fire, the book I read, Pretending. That's a Todd Rundgren. Shake Me, Wake Me. It's My Life. So Sad About Us. Was actually So Sad About Us was Peter Townsend.
Oh, well, how about So Sad About Us? We might have to.
Yeah.
We might have
Conclude
to
our
wrap
episode.
our discussion about Wasp.
Yes.
So Sad About Us. We might have to.
And what did Shaun say? That we agreed to stop buying them and he agreed to stop making them.
Yeah.
And that was that.
And that was it.
Shaun does these on Facebook, these interactions where he writes little notes to us. And one of his interactions, he mentioned it was Vinyl Week or Vinyl Day or Record Store Day or something.
Oh, right.
And they were talking about Wasp is at the record store. So I sent in, I said, I'm sorry, Shaun, but my demographic wouldn't allow me to really get into Wasp. And he replied. He replied something like, mine either, or one of his funny quirks. So
he knows.
Everyone out there listening, we all love Shaun Cassidy, but Wasp we were all in the same boat. We walked away from our little teenage hearts, grew up a little bit, but we weren't that grown up.
So did Shaun. Shaun was trying to grow up too. You can't stay in teeny bopper land forever.
No.
So I respect that they tried to do something new, but if it's too drastic, then it
was just too much. Too
I mean, he walked away, at 21?
Think so.
Yeah. And
he got married.
Yeah, got married. I mean,
and then went away for 42 years.
Yeah. I mean, so young. I really wished, but, that I still followed him. Even the other day, my ex-brother-in-law, said to my husband, like, I've known Penny for like 30 years, and I don't think I ever heard her say his name. And now she's doing a Shaun Cassidy podcast.
Yeah, do you believe that?
And, he's like, I've heard her say this name and that name, and she's done this and she's done that. But where did Shaun Cassidy come up?
Maybe this is chapter 2. It's not over till it's over.
Yeah. And he goes, he started touring again.
and we're thrilled.
And here we are. We're thrilled. So being thrilled. And now we know a lot more about Shaun and his TV series, and I'm so glad we do. I mean, Doris, thank you. Thank you. And I really don't think we're done talking about Invasion or American Gothic.
I'm sure it'll come up again.
And I will make sure I get my sheriffs and my episodes straight.
Shaun likes to put sheriffs in his movies, that's for sure.
I mean, but if you think about it, they are so similar and so easily to get them confused.
They are.
Especially when you're trying to talk about them, because they could almost blend someday.
We talked about these only because we were doing this Dark Side of Shaun.
Yeah.
But there are so many others. Agency
Yeah.
comes to mind. He did so many shows. He was Ruby and the Rockets.
Ruby and the Rockets.
Now,
yes.
that's a great show.
We got to talk about that one day.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a fun show.
I mean, we have more shows.
I think it was one season,
Boys.
right?
I mean, yeah. But still,
Boys.
we have so many more. So, Doris, that was a great episode. But, we're going to lighten that up and go right into Dame's closet. Tell us, Dame, what's in your closet today?
Well, it's something that should not be in my closet. I found it a little bit ago, and it actually needs to be added to the rest of my stuff that I already have. But this one has a very, very sweet face on it, and it's something that will brighten your day. Well, it has a neat signature on it, too. And no, it's not my guitar that Shaun signed, but I can say that it's super soft. It's super shiny. Cindy actually has one that's much better. It's in better shape than mine, especially the visual part of it. And she treasures hers like I treasure my own signed guitar.
I know what it is.
I see his cute face. And no, it's not the one that Jerry puts over his head to drown out the light at night. Do you guys think you know what it is?
It's your pillowcase, Dame.
Yes. Do you think it's satin or do you really think it's silk?
It's satin.
I'm going with cotton.
Penny. She's always the original. Well, how many of you have one out there? If you do, follow us. Don't just like us, but follow us and let us know.
Post your
because
pictures.
We really like ours. Yes, please.
Email us at ShaunSquatchSociety@gmail.com and tell us about your pillowcase.
And
your stories.
And stay tuned for our next episode of Dame's Closet. Thank you from the bottom of our teen dream hearts.
Keep on crushing.
Always believe in magic.
And have a peaceful, Shauntastic week.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. And make sure to keep in touch with us on our email.
ShaunSquatchSociety@gmail.com.
The Shaun Squad Society podcast, including past, present, and future versions, and its contents are owned and controlled by the Shaun Squad Society. The views and opinions are solely those of the Shaun Squad Society podcast. The Shaun Squad Society is written and produced and recorded at the Borden Studios. We may think we are always right, but we will get something wrong from time to time. So we assume no responsibilities or errors of submissions of content.